Creating a strong implementation plan, staffing and training. Identifying staffing and training needs for a project is a critical component of implementation. This video will highlight ways to ensure that you have a qualified workforce that is ready to implement the program you have selected. The first step to ensuring you have qualified staff is to understand the model requirements for implementer qualifications. For programs supported by the Epicenter, this information will be highlighted in Program Resources, which can be found at the Evidence-Based Programs tab of the Epicenter website. For programs not supported by the Epicenter, try the Program Developers website. Be sure you can answer these questions. What are the educational requirements? Do you need an associate's degree, bachelor's, or master's? What field of study is preferred? Are there any licensure or certification requirements? Once you understand what professional qualifications are required, the next step is to decide whether you have existing staff who can fill the role for the new program. Keep in mind, it is typically more efficient and sustainable to utilize existing staff rather than hire new people. A key question to ask yourself at this phase is, how will we sustain this position in the long term? If you determine that hiring new staff is essential, the next step is to identify a timeline for the hiring process. Be sure to plan for time to develop a job description, advertise the position, and interview potential candidates. Even after a hiring decision has been made, there may be lag time before bringing a person into an active implementation role. A key consideration at this step is ensuring you have staff ready to participate in any scheduled training. At the same time that you are considering staffing needs, you'll most likely need to plan for training those staff in the new program. A key consideration at this juncture is to make contact with the program developer to find out when training is available. Depending upon the program, there may be a wait time. Epicenter often hosts or coordinates in-state training for the programs it supports. This eliminates the need for you to schedule training for your agency and helps to keep costs low. It is critical to be aware of training structure and space requirements. Ask yourself, how many days is the training? Is any preparation required? For instance, is there any recommended reading or pre-training webinars? How long does the training day last? Where will the training take place? Will travel be required? Depending on the number of staff you plan to train, it may make sense to host a training at your agency or school to eliminate travel expenses. For school-based programs where the intention is to train teachers, superintendent and principal support will be critical. If training is offered during school hours, substitutes will most likely be needed. This is an added expense and should be considered within the project plan and budget. It is essential to plan for volunteer recruitment and training in the same way that you plan for hiring paid staff. Certification and trainer of trainers options are important to be aware of from the very beginning. Certification is a confirmation that an individual has achieved a certain skill level and is qualified to implement the program. Becoming a trainer of trainers is typically a step above certification and qualifies an individual to train others to implement the program. These credentials are typically offered by the developer or owner of a program, and the associated costs should be included in the initial budget when possible. To recap, identifying and training staff is a key part of a strong implementation plan. Understanding educational requirements, training structures, including certification and trainer of trainer options, will help ensure a qualified workforce for your program.